for 36 volts. I've looked at it and it cannot be going up. Just like even on the back. The noise behind me, it's just right outside my door. So, yeah, I'm going to run over a list here and different types of e-technologies here, not just this e-bike, because everybody gets the misconception that e-bikes are the only thing. They have them in different sizes and stuff, and people just think that this is pretty much it, or 26 inch. Now there's so many different types. I'm going to put pictures up so you can see the different types of what I call e-technology. That's pretty much what it's a reference to. If you look it up, e-technologies, it goes into single wheels, scooters, skateboards, and then e-bikes are in a different category, but it all comes down to the same point. They have some kind of electric hub or motor that makes them go, some kind of battery, and in one way or another something that controls the speed and all that stuff, braking, everything. The single wheels, it's moving forward to make them go, and lean backward to make them stop. And everybody has different technologies of brakes and pretty much setups and everything like that. But so there's so many different types of technologies out there. E-bikes are the main one that people usually ride or go with. I feel better with something with handlebars on it, even the scooters and everything. Thought of the scooter, but I thought, well, if the battery dies and you have to pedal. So, but yeah, we'll get into now the battery location here. Oops, let me bring this up. So this type of battery is what they call Silverfish Battery. They make different types of battery. This one does have a key. You can see it right here. This key has to be turned on to power the bike, and there are ones that the key powers the battery up to make the bike go. There's other ones that don't only require key to remove the battery. So there are some keyless type setups, and there's other ones that are keyed like this. They also have ones that you can hook up your smartphone to them. Like the Bluetooth wireless stuff, do more controls and fine tuning of the bike itself. They have displays on some of them. This one here doesn't. The only thing that battery powers is the rear hub here, and the little module up here on the handlebars, right here. That little module there, and then the controller, which happens to be down the frame. I'll get into those in a minute. What's up with those? But back to the batteries. And the battery locations can be in different places. Mine happens to be what's in the middle, what they call mid-mount, pretty much. And the battery connection's down here at the bottom, and it just slides down. There's a bar in the back right here that slides through. That pin is to show it's locked in place. That also is a prevention from having the battery stolen too. So that's kind of what that's about. And this battery can go bigger, and the factory battery is smaller, but it can get bigger. And I think this might be able to go to I was going to go try a 25 amp hour battery, but the batteries are very expensive. So to have a 25 amp hour for this particular bike was $750. I was quoted about 3 or 4 months ago. So, but yep, and they will mount batteries inside the frames where this folding part is. They will put batteries. I think Answer even has one might have a few of them that slide inside the frame. There's other what they call frame mount, which looks like the mountain bike, and they mount top or bottom. Some are out on the outside of the frame, some are inside the frame. And some they actually will hide some of the batteries in some of these, but they often have here where these bags happen to be. They can be on this side or the other side. They'll have bag mount batteries. They have a dual mount, where some people come up with mounting 2 batteries to the frame, or have what they call an extra. Well, they'll have a main battery like this, and then there'll be a bag maybe attached over in here on a bigger frame, of course, and that will be an extra battery. And other times there's a dual battery setup, just like they have dual hub setups too. I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, the batteries vary in price and type and size. This happens to be what they call Silverfish, is this type of battery. It took me a while to find the name of that. I always thought these were tower batteries, but no, Silverfish is the name of this particular battery. And it's a 36 volt, 18 amp hour. So I have an 8 amp hour, which came with the bike itself. It's a lot smaller. They do vary in size and types. So, and for the battery itself, your voltage is where you get more speed out of. So if I want to make the bike go faster, I would increase the voltage up to like 48 volts or something like that. Now for my distance and all that, for all that would be the amp hours. That would give me my distance on that. So if I go more, if I go 25 amp hour, I'm going to go even farther. So the 8 amp hour can't get me as far as this 18 amp hour. So it all varies in types and sizes. And there's something really important with these lithium batteries. It's what's called a BMS, which is right there on top. It's a battery management system. And there's the fuse right there for it. And that really controls you over pretty much overloading the battery. You don't want to overcharge it, undercharge it. Can't. It pretty much is a major protection. And the charge time on the batteries do vary. This one here, it does take a while. That's one of the downfalls with this particular lithium type of battery. It's got a slow charger, but they say the slow charging these type of particular batteries gives you more life in general, a longer battery life. And this one here can vary from 4 to 8 hours, depending on how low the battery is. Like it takes usually an average for me about 6-7 hours on half a charge. And really it's like more of a third. So it takes a while to charge these up. That's one of the downfalls of these type of batteries. So I always plan it, let me charge it a day ahead. Like when I take a trip, I'm going to take another adventure tomorrow for the show. But of course, this stuff's going to be mixed around. But yeah, the variance of speed and distance and all that varies really. And right here's the marking for that. You see it, 36 volt, 18 amp hour. And so I had to do a lot of researching on this myself. But I'm going to post it in the video, make it a lot easier for people. Because it took a lot for me to find this out. You know, this is a 2-post mount, which down here, there's 2 pieces of metal that come up for a positive and negative, and it sits down right in there. And other ones have, like I said, the mounting, the battery locations, they're very different, and they all vary in price. So, like I said, if you want to go more distance, it's the amp hours. You want to increase the amp hours, not the voltage, because you can fry out stuff. Like this is strictly 36 volts, and what that means is the module down here, the controller down here, my bad on that. The controller down here is meant for 36 volts. I've looked at it and it cannot be going up. Because like even on the back of this, right here, oops, you get it adjusted here. I'm using the gimbal, so right here, right up under here, there's a sticker, but you can't really see it though. There's a sticker underneath this thing. I think it's on this side here, right in here or something, and it says 36 volts. So that's a key factor. Now the hub's a different story that I've read that's just the basics for this particular setup of a hub. I can increase that. I can go everything around the hub, like change the controller, module, battery, and leave the hub alone. But that's just a low rating for those. But if you go and change the battery, change the controller, you have to change the module. So everything has to be changed together unless the setup is a varied one. Like go up 36 to 48 volts on some of these, and this happens to be a 36 volt setup. But you want to keep that the same unless you have to change everything. So yep, so now we'll go on to what they call the controller, which is down in here. It's pretty much where everything ties into. It's the brains of the bike, makes the bike, tells pretty much the bike what to do. Like there's sensors inside and that control a lot of the stuff. That's why it's called a controller, because it turns around, and if you hit the you hit the brakes, it will kill the motor off. So, and then there's what they call the pedal assist. That actually works very good on this bike. If I put it on number 1 setting, it will actually go just a little bit, number 1 setting goes a little bit. Number 2 really kicks it up and goes really good. So that's the one that has a lot of power. And let me see. And then basically, like I said, this is where they happen to put this controller. All different bikes have different places. I've seen them bag mounted right here, or in a little box right there. But most of them are usually down around the lower part. Battery ties into it somewhere, and that controls like the rear hub, the brake setup, the module up here, the module part. As you can see, I have no display or anything on this. Also over here, the throttle controls that. There's 2 different types of these. This is a twist one, and they have a throttle tape one, which is almost like a thumb control, from what I know of. And then here, you see how this wire right here is coming out. That's the part that when I go on to click the brakes, it will kill the motor off. And the brake position is real important on this. First, I'm just going to explain this real quick, and I'm jumping around. But this right here is in the position because of the hand factor. And I know people don't like it in that position. I'm very comfortable with that. Because one reason, when your hand is right here, let me get back, hand is right here, there's the brake. If you're way up here, you have to come way up here to grab it. So I always found the brake setup better. It's right there. But yeah, and that's the controller. If you hit the brakes, will shut off the electric motor, unless of course it's modified or something. And every once in a while they get a little mind of their own when it take off, so I'm always ready for it. You know, they tend to get weird glitches sometimes, but let's see. Yeah, and again, there's the hub right behind the brake system. There's the hub on this thing. You see, let me come around here a little bit. Zoom around. So there's the hub drive. That's what drives it. This is what's a rear hub set. And then they have ones for right here, which is, let me bring it down. That's for mid-drive on those. Yeah, and then of course they got the front hubs, which makes where they're located just more and more here in the front. So they have the front, mid, and rear drive is what they call it. Now this is a rear drive, single gear. I don't know, as far as I know, only 16 inches, I think 16s, 14s. I don't know about 20s, but they're all single gear as far as I know, which is fine, no big deal. And then brake setups. They're in different places, different locations. This is a disc brake set. This is what they call the manual. They have hydraulic disc brake sets. And they also, there's two kinds of basic brake sets. There's the disc brakes and what it pretty much is, the wheel, which is what they call a reference caliper, which grabs the wheel. It's the ones that go up on top here and they just come around. And there's about 4 or 5 different types of those. I'm not going to get into those. They're just basically to be just caliper brakes. They grab the rim of the bike wheel instead of a disc like this is. Now I'm going to upgrade these discs. You got a little bit something else. I'm going to see if they're just a little bit better. Because one little weird issue I found with these type of brakes is the brake pads do not cover the whole thing. And you can see you can see it in the video here, how much of the brake pads cover the rotor here. You see it stopping right there. So, and this could be moved in more actually. There's got some shims right here. This could be moved in and cover more of this rotor. But I got different rotors I'm going to put on. That's going to be in another part of this video. Let me see. I'm going to just trying to get basics of the whole bike thing because there's not a lot of videos that go really in depth into the basics of what's up. And we'll come up here. I got you got the hubs and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah, and then like I said, I already told about the throttle types. And then they have different types of wheels for these bikes. Like this happens to be just street tread. Nothing fancy, street tread. It's a spoked rim, 16-inch. It makes so many different types and sizes, just like the hubs vary in types and sizes. This is only 250 watt, 36 volt. They can go up to, they're in the kilowatts now, and they can get pretty big. So, and just like on the mid-drive, this part will just be a standard axle. And it's a whole motor setup. I think it might be about that big too. But that's the drive. They have more, are prone to breakdown factors than the solid standard rear hub or front drive hub. And the rear hub, you get better, I feel like a better thing overall, but it's more of choice and preference. We got the frames, they make them out of different types of material. This happens to be an all metal frame, even the fenders are metal. It's a pretty well solid bike. And then some are non-folding, this is a folding one. Just like these pedals down here, they're also too. They make different types of pedals. And this, if I can get it to do it without killing myself here. Okay, hold on a minute. I just tried to do this with one. There we go. There. And then folding pedals. I should have did it with one hand like I just did, but there's the folding pedals for that. You know, there's the cranks vary. I found that this is a 3-piece crank set because you got the 2 pedal arms there, removable shaft in the middle. I mean, that's pretty good. The gear itself is kind of could be a little better quality. So that'd be one thing. I had to straighten it out. and it's mounted to the pedal arm on this side. Remove that before. But yeah, just like the handlebar position, hand grips, all that. That varies. Some of the bikes have lights, displays. It'll display right up in here. This one, I'm glad it doesn't, because that just takes from the battery. All that extra stuff just takes from your battery. So this one focuses just pretty much on what really is taking the most power is that hub when I use it. Because I don't turn the key off, I leave it on. It doesn't take anything unless the bike's actually turned on. But hopefully this will give you a basic idea, just giving basics on the different types and styles of bikes. Yeah, and they do, let me see, and you can turn around and get all different kinds of upgrades and add-ons for the e-bikes. Some people upgrade the brake system, go from what these are mechanical calipers to actually hydraulics. Mechanical to hydraulics. These mechanical ones are fine for my point. It's more hardcore users. I guess would want the hydraulic ones. One thing I found with disc brakes, the issue is you tend to kind of on here a little bit. If I hand it to make it a little easier to see. You see that there's a sheen to it, a shine. I just cleaned these not that long ago, rubbed them up, and they're already getting this way. So I'm gonna try different. Got another set. That's the only downfall of these brakes is they get a glaze built up, just like automotive stuff. Get a glaze built up on them. You gotta knock it down just to get super shiny and smooth. Back really shows it. For some reason, it's not. You can see the reflection there, and it's going to start squeaking at some point. I did some major work on the rotors there to try to make them a little better, feel a little bit better. I'm going to upgrade those, and just like different kickstands. This happens to be a basic one. I try seeing different mount setups where they'll have it back up in here and they flip down. The single one. I had a nice dual setup, but it wouldn't work on this. Because it had to be rounded right in here, and it would have been sitting like way down here, so it would be too low. But yeah, this is basic thing. Guards right here. Wire setup goes right up underneath here, which is nice. And this is all metal. That's where that controller's located. The only downfall is there's a hole up in here for cooling. Keep that all cool. Gets stirred up in there periodically, so that could be an issue. But yeah, and I've ridden this in the rain a few times, and it's worked out fine. It sucked right in the rain, but got to clean up pretty good. But yeah, let's see if I got everything here. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stuff you can add on to these bikes. They have, like I have put it in here at the trailer. There's the mount for that. I've talked about that before. You can change the seat. It's a different seat, of course. Came with it. The bags there I have. There's just so many options for any kind of e-bikes. The lights, mounts, right there's one. There's another one. I got cameras for this thing too. There's a rear mount up under the seat here. And that's why I like this seat, because that's what's kind of cool about that. That's so the battery can remove. So some of the seats even have this option to flip it up. And you see right here is my camera mount from over here. Made that thing. But just making sure I'm getting everything covered here. And then I've had people ask me questions, cost factors, everything, what's it weigh? Well, they all vary in weight. This happens to be about, depends on the battery, it's about 30 to 35 pounds. Right now it's about 35, maybe 40 pounds, rough guess. So it's right around 35 pounds, being all metal, of course. And they all vary in weight. I've seen weighed 60 pounds, some of these e-bikes, bigger ones. And they just all vary. And they do have conversion kits, which is nice. You can actually take and buy the hub and the battery, like I said, the controller there, module. They have the kits where you get everything pretty much you need, except for the bike frame itself. And other ones will have just where it gives you the hub, but you have to install the whole hub. That means you have to put the hub in itself. Other ones will give you the wheel. There's such a variance of kits. They all vary in price. It'd be a few $100, $300-$400 starting. Some of these kits I've seen them like, I think, $200 starting out. They don't include big batteries, and then some don't include a battery set for it. So they're very interesting. And it's hopefully I covered everything I could cover on this setup with this. So Yeah, and it's, like I said, I don't want to get real in depth, but hopefully just basics and everything. But I'll get in one thing here with the hubs. Like I said, they vary in size. Now for hubs itself, when it comes to people looking, like I said, for a particular e-bike or e-technology, to find something that's you have to know your weight. This bike max weight range, maximum weight capacity is 230 pounds. And me, I weigh about like 170, so it carries me very well. And these hubs, like I said, they do vary in size. This is a 36 volt, 250 watt. They go up like much more than that, and they're in sizes. And basic how it works is for the voltage, that is your speed. That is exactly what that's for. So if I want to increase my speed, I can go up to, like I said, I might not have to do it with this hub, but it could just do it, go 48 volt hub, I'm gonna go faster. And if I want more power to go up hills or I'm a little heavier rider, that's where the wattage comes into play. And right now I'm 250 watts, so this would not be good for anybody that's over that weight limit. If you're in the 200 pounds, 200 light, like I would say maybe like 210, under that you'd be all right on this. But if you're over that weight, now you want to go something with a bigger amount of wattage in the hub. They'll have, like I said, this 250 watt, they keep going up. Let me see, I've seen 700 watts, 1,000 watts, so they 350 watt hubs. And if you go increase that a little bit, like I'm on 250, if I go 350, I have more power to pull me up hills. Like I wouldn't have to pedal as much. And that's what would be good about this. So that's what's a big key factor with the hubs on these is you want to turn around and make sure that you look up the specs if you're interested in getting the technology, find out what the weight limit of something is or the weight capacity of these are. But remember, voltage is for speed, wattage is for what I call power or torque, and that's for your weight factors. So, but and just like the different e-bikes, they'll have a chunk of these where you do have to pedal to start the assist, and I'm not real crazy about that. This particular bike, I do not have to pedal on a takeoff. I can do a pedal assist if I want to, but I don't have to. And in all the videos in the venturing, except for when I'm going up hills, I'm not pedaling. So this is like one of those that's just real nice. Turn it on, hit the throttle, and off you go. But a lot of my senior pedal assist, just like a lot of them, are disaster from my point of view. This bike, when I bought it and I got it, I had to tighten just a little tiny bit of stuff, not much, but they were all one thing. Always double check all parts and components, make sure they're tightened up, because some of the bikes will have stuff pretty loose on them. This one didn't. The only thing I had to do when I bought this bike was put the pedals itself on, put the seat on, so the seat post right there, and the handlebars. They were just off on the side, so it was all relatively easy. One thing I didn't realize that nobody said, there was a piece of metal sitting down in the post here. So I was trying to force the post down to where it goes, but there was a plug of some sort in there, and I think it was to keep that from getting messed up. So if you ever get any bike, always check to make sure that there's not a plug in there that kind of messes things up. But I'm just trying to cover everything on this bike. Like I said, they all vary in types, sizes. The technologies vary. Some are like really fold up majorly. Other ones, I got really high tech stuff. Prices all varies. This was, they all vary. This happens to be, it's over 500 now. This is this is 440 when I bought it, and that's before tax, shipping. I got a warranty. I should never got a warranty, but now it's 518. Get it through Amazon. And Walmart sells a no brand name one. It's an Anchier without the Anchier name on it. Same thing. Striping is all the same. That's even more. So I just feel I did pretty good with it. But yeah, so there's so many different things, like I said, and just, when you get one of these things, always inspect all the parts and components on to make sure that they're going to be working well. And I hope I covered everything in this. I'm still going over my little list here. Got the frames, control positions, brakes and type, because the calipers, like I said, they have the caliper brakes and disc brakes. I like the disc brakes, they're nice, especially for when it gets wet. That's the downfall of caliper brakes. They get wet, the rim gets wet, your stopping power sucks. But yeah, so I figured I would use this bike as an example, because I've had a lot of questions asked to me. This is not because the regulations, that's why it's a 250 watt, 36 volt. It doesn't have an instant takeoff. There's a slow takeoff delay because of the regulations. So you just have to do what regulations are here in this country. And there's different classes There's class 1, 2, and 3, and this has to be in a class 2. So, and then the class 3 is the one that you can pretty much, I think it's a class 3, yeah, it's class 3, you get in trouble if you go into parks and stuff, because they're like motorcycles, because they do make electric motorcycles, and ones that do resemble motorcycles, that's when you start to get a kilowatt instead of wattage, or that's 250 watts, start getting a kilowatts, which are just, those are the ones that can go 100-mile distance, 50, 60 miles an hour. Well, this one here, I got bad, figuring when it running good, it goes about 20. Okay, this is the trailer that could be attached to an e-bike. It's a basic, it's by a company, Allen makes the trailer. You see the attachment right here. Actually, bolts right there. It goes right between that nut and the frame, so it's pretty solid setup. It's got a, like almost right in here, where you see the strapping, it's pretty much where the strapping is right in here. There's a little spring set up right there, and it's kind of flexible. It rides real smooth. I had my daughter in it. She weighs about 55 pounds or so. Goes up to, holds about 100 pounds. There's actually a cover that goes on it, but I put the cover on it. She's getting a little too tall for it, but works out pretty good though. I'll get to control this thing yet. But yeah, here's the back, little trunk area, got little bags, lock there, 16-inch wheels and stuff on it, so it's pretty good. You know, just the model of it there, right there. So you can all see what it is.